Welcome back. As we told you today, a group of House Democrats left the state for another day trip as they push back against the GOP bid to redraw the congressional district map. And now this was not a quorum break since the House is not in session today. However, new reporting from the Texas Tribune suggests House Democrats are raising money to cover the costly fallout if they do break quorum. Tribune reporter Owen Dahlkamp is covering the story. He's joining us from D.C. Owen, thank you for taking some time out to talk with us.
Thanks for having me.
So when we talk about the costly consequence, this is actually a new rule that was passed during this legislative session. Tell us about it.
Right. In 2021, after the previous quorum break, when Democrats fled the state in order to stop a slate of Republican bills to basically overhaul Texas's election system, they implemented this $500 a day fine that members have to pay. They can't pay it out of their campaign finances, so they have to pay it out of pocket personally in order to avoid threats of arrest, but they could still be arrested, as Attorney General Ken Paxton has threatened. There's a lot of uncertainty around this quorum break right now.
I think a lot of people here, wait a minute, the Attorney General can arrest people? This is not a crime. How is the Attorney General going to arrest someone? Explain that.
Yeah, Attorney General Ken Paxton can, in fact, compel members to attend the legislative session when the Capitol is in session. So there are a few options that Republicans can use if Democrats do decide to flee the state in order to stop these GOP maps from being implemented. They could fine them that $500 a day that are in those House rules, or they could, in fact, arrest them and compel them to attend the legislative session in the State House.
Yeah, we should note that if they are taken into custody, they are brought to the Capitol. It's not like we're going to have lawmakers taken to jail. They would be taken to the House chamber. There's also, we should note, a chance that they could get locked inside the chamber if the speaker gets wind that they want to leave. That's why there's so much secrecy and this is so under wraps. The fine, though, going back to the fine, we're hearing that some national Democrats are doing their part to help maybe raise some money to cover that.
Yeah, Congressman Greg Casar of Austin, he has been on campaign or finance calls with donors. During these calls, they have asked people to donate money to a potential quorum break. Other national Democrats have been on these calls as well, although we're not 100% certain who they are, according to 3 sources who have either been briefed on the calls or who are on the calls themselves. They are aiming to raise about $1 million a month in order to cover these quorum break fines, and they seem pretty confident that they will have the money if Texas House Democrats decide to quorum break.
You know, I was talking to other political observers, and they noted that there's a lot of incentive for national Democrats to go ahead and pay these fines if there's a way for them to stop these maps, because they could end up in very competitive races if the map is redrawn.
Yeah, they will end up in likely very competitive races if these maps are redrawn. And one very interesting thing about this is that the Democratic base right now has been clamoring for some sort of resistance to the Trump administration. The Democratic Party is trying to find its footing, trying to figure out how they are going to respond to this new administration within the White House. And just about 7 months into this administration, they still haven't quite found their issue. But it's looking like redistricting is emerging as a potential possibility to actually fundraise around this and mobilize the base against this GOP plan.
Okay, but let's take a step back and talk about really how this would work, because we are still in the month of July. I realize August is right around the corner, but we're a ways away, right, from a primary, which would happen, you know, in March of next year. For how long could Democrats break quorum? We know that the governor will just keep calling them back until he gets what he wants done.
Likely. It remains unclear how long they could break. I know at least one of my sources that I talked to said they're planning for months on end. There is a little bit of uncertainty about actually filing for re-election. You have to be in the state in order to file. But it seems like Democrats may be willing to break quorum for months on end. I don't know how likely that possibility will be. The last quorum break lasted about 3 weeks to a month. And after that, Democrats started to miss their families at their homes. They wanted to get back to their state. So I'm unsure and a little skeptical that this could last longer than just a few-week delay.
Yeah, a lot of them have kids, don't want to be missing those first days of school. Owen Dahlkamp, reporter with the Texas Tribune. We thank you so much for sharing this insight with us today.